you have a master's in spiritual psychology.
Yeah.
And you bring a very different kind of gift to the people who come to you. And one of the things I said to you when you were here last was that it seems like very often what you cue into when people ask you to write a song is you cue into something that's many levels down for them.
Yeah. That's sort of, that's what I love to do. I think it's sort of what I was born to do. And a lot of times when people come, they know they want to go to that deep place. And other times they don't. It might be a simple, sort of like the songs that I brought to share today. The request initially is more, there's a simple communication that I'd like to do, and can you help me do it? And it's not till we get in there and start doing the song interview that we realize, wow, there are really much deeper places we can go with this message if we want to.
So let's start with the first song that you are going to play for us today. There are two of them. And can you walk me through, or walk particularly our audience through any part of what you're saying, what that interview initially was like, and something about how the song came to be?
Well, this one is really unique in terms of the interview because it was a very different type of interview, because it's a very different type of project. This is a song that was commissioned by a father who's dying for his daughter, who at the time was, I think maybe she was about 11 or so. He had lost his ability to speak. There's that theme today. He had has a disease called Lou Gehrig's disease, or it's more commonly known as ALS these days. And if you know anything about this disease, it is just a horrible disease. It just slowly renders every muscle in the body slack.
Right, so the mind is still in
totally
perfect
intact,
shape,
completely
and the body just keeps disintegrating piece by piece.
Yeah, and again, this is a case of a father, and this is a father and mother who knew about this disease and watched it beginning to ravage the father, and they had this young daughter, and they're faced with this question of, what do we tell her when about what's happening, and how able is she going to be to grapple with how big this is and how final this is? And so they really struggled with it, like a lot of parents do, and what they kind of came to is, we're going to wait for a cue from her that she's kind of ready to know about this. We're going to wait till she asks. She didn't ask, and the disease progressed, and it kind of came to a point where he was no longer able to speak. He had lost the ability to move the muscles in his mouth in a way that he could communicate. So that was the point that he came to me for this song. He couldn't speak to me either, which answers your question about interview, because the way we conducted this interview, thanks to the wonders of modern technology, is he had something hooked up to a set of glasses where he could use the retina of his eye at a computer to point to one
letter at a time.
So a normal interview for me is like 2 hours, very intensive. We really get down to it. It's often, at the end of those 2 hours, people often say, boy, I don't care what the song is, the interview was really helpful. This is completely different. And I thought, how's this even going to work? So we were doing one question a day. And early on in this interview process, I thought, I better write these questions so that he can do the least amount of typing possible. So I was trying to sort of click here, check this, and it just really wasn't going much of anywhere. It was uncomfortable. I felt kind of wooden. I felt like the answers I was getting were, I couldn't think, how am I going to do anything somehow with this? And suddenly I just decided, I'm going to ask him open-ended questions and just let him go. And it was one of the more incredible experiences of my life. It got to the point where I was rushing home every day to check my email to see his answer, because if you take away every muscle in a body, what happens is the landscape of the mind just expands in unfathomable ways. And so my experience was, I got in. At a certain point, I was just sort of like, oh my gosh, we found it. We found a connection. Here's this person that if you look at him, he can't even move the muscles of his face. He can't smile. It's like talking to a face that doesn't move. But in this world of communication, I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm in there. We can go over here, we can go over there, we can talk about death, we can talk about what you want your daughter to know. It was just like we were everywhere, all over the place. So I'd like to play it for you, but I'll just say a couple of things. I really thought that this was going to be a song about illness and a song about death. And he really wanted a song about health and about life. And he said, it's really important to me that she be able to remember me when I was healthy, because it's getting farther and farther away. So You'll hear in this song that it opens with our attempt to sort of recreate that feeling of what everything was like when it was just simple and easy for him to just connect with her and be with her. And then it kind of goes into a deeper place, as you mentioned, where he talks about what it is he wants her to know about his feelings for her, because he won't always be here. So
And this is his only child?
This is his only child. And this song got forwarded all over the place among ALS families. In fact, if you happen to go onto the website and purchase this single,
The
all the money
website,
goes.
Custom Crafted Songs?
There you go. Yes, Custom Crafted Songs. This song I actually made it become a fundraiser for research for ALS. So anybody that decides to purchase this one, that's where that goes. But it got forwarded by all kinds of ALS families, but it also just got forwarded by a lot of parents, because it really captures that essence, I think, of the feeling of how sacred our children are to us, and how all children ultimately are going out and separating from parents, and all of us have these messages that we want to send about how powerful our feelings are for them. So,
Well, you go for it then.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
So this song is called Bright Eyes. And just sort of let you hear for yourself what this father wanted to say to his daughter about this change in their life and about his feelings for her. Bright eyes, 1,000-watt smile, bright skies of the Coronado, miles and miles of sailing out on the bright sea, sailing along, my bright, bright-eyed girl and me. It was like nothing to be sailing along, watching you laughing, and find myself laughing and strong for you. Pushing you on a swing, holding you close and then setting you free. The simple things, what time is taking, the hugs I can't offer you as I watch this body wasting. It was like nothing to lift you to the sky. It was like everything to see me through your bright, bright eyes. But my courage does not halt or falter now. I will love you long past my last breath of air. God does not give us the burdens we deserve, but the ones we can bear. So watch for me eternally, feel for me in the passing breeze. One day I'll be sailing free right beside you, and you will see with your bright eyes and your 1,000-watt smile. Under bright skies, you'll see the never-ending miles and miles of my love out on life's sea, sailing beside you eternally, my bright-eyed girl, my bright-eyed girl, my bright-eyed maker.